Hello and welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. My name is Dr. 𝗟𝗏𝗚𝗏. I'm the founder of the Academy of Light Medicine and the TOLPAKAN Healing Method. So today's topic is around medical opinion. Now, normally when I talk to Source about what to share every week, it's some spiritual, dimensional, energetic, kind of cool stuff, This week it's medical opinion. I was like, that's a little strange. Okay, well, why is this coming up? Well, it could be because I have been hearing from a lot of people from around the world their experiences with the medical system, or what we call the conventional medical system. And some of these interactions with medical professionals and the medical industry, if you will, have been somewhat cringeworthy at times. And as a retired medical doctor and a medical acupuncturist, I can both empathize with the patients and what they're going through. As a sensitive soul, that's very easy to do, right? To empathize. And at the same time, I can empathize with my medical colleagues as well, because they're kind of stuck in a way. Unless they happen to be a little bit like a rebel, like myself, it can be really difficult because on the one hand, you want to do what's right by the patient, right? And I had a really intense desire as a medical doctor to be that advocate for the patient. And at the same time, there are pressures from our medical association, from the licensing authorities, from governmental authorities that are telling us what we should do and how we should do it. And in the past, it didn't seem to be encroaching too much on our medical freedom or our ability to think independently and do what we thought was right for the patient. But over the last 3 years, that has not been the case in many countries, including the US and Canada. Physicians are actually being told, ordered, if you will, to do things or recommend things to their patients that they don't feel necessarily is for their highest and greatest good. Yet, they're being threatened with their licenses being pulled, their reputations in shambles, and various other kinds of threats that, physicians feel really stuck. They don't know exactly how to act, because if they lose their livelihood, that means no job, no money, can't feed the kids, can't pay the mortgage or the home or the vacations or whatever else, right? So that is not different from anybody else who is not a physician. Here's the thing though. Physicians generally get paid a lot more than the average person at the grocery store, right? The average person. And they're not dumb people. They're smart people. And they get paid the big bucks because they hold a higher level of responsibility. So from my perspective, because of that higher level of responsibility and because they are authority figures, to me, it's very important for them to advocate for those who they are supposed to be caring for. And that does put them in a very precarious position, because sometimes it means that it is the end of having your regular job. So we are here as, or most people who are listening to this are here as the patient, as the one who isn't the medical professional and who is searching for the truth. What is the truth? Here's a hint. To me, and this is just my personal perspective, science is to be questioned. And we do better and better in science as we continue to question what we thought was true before. And I do question my beliefs on a regular basis. And that's why I often say my current understanding is ... because that could change tomorrow based on new information. And I really applaud those who, I suppose like me, are willing to change their opinion based on new information, because it's very humbling, and humility is a good thing in this context. So what about those that have had some sort of unfortunate, traumatic, emotionally traumatic interaction with the medical community, or the medical industry, as some people like to call it? Well, that can be really frustrating. And we can also really think, who are we putting the onus of responsibility for our own health care? For most people, it's an authority figure. For most people, they're going to defer their wellness and their, let's say, direction towards healing and wellness to some sort of authority figure. Now, there's a problem with that because the other person may not know exactly what is for your personal highest and greatest good, because everyone is different. And that's one thing I do respect about Chinese medicine, is that they tend to be very individualized, which is very difficult when you're doing Western type studies and you have 100 or 200 or 1,000 people in a study. You have to treat them all the same way. And that can be really challenging, although that is considered the gold standard. However, everyone is different. And here is the really cool thing. What if, despite what you see on the news or touted in science, and by the way, my thoughts are, if it can't be questioned, it's not science, it's propaganda. Okay, just keep that in mind. So instead of all that noise out there, or necessarily even trusting your medical doctor or authority figure, instead of trusting source or yourself, why not turn that inwards and go, wow, I am personally responsible for my experience on this planet, including whether I am well or not well, sick or healthy. And so you say, well, Dr. Karen, I'm not a medical doctor. How can I have, I don't really know what to do. Well, here's the thing. You can tune in on the inside and connect to the source of all creation, if you will, and ask that question or put that intention there to know what is for your highest and greatest good. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll come up with some idea that only a medical doctor would know, or some sort of, esoteric quantum physicist turned healer person would know, okay? But what it means is that your next step intuitively will lead you to that answer. Now, it could be a book. It could be that you're on a particular chat that you decided to log in and someone shares a link to a webinar or a telesummit or something that piques your interest. And that's how you can intuit what to do next. Not because you necessarily know all the details of what to do next, but that you are allowing source and allowing your higher self the guidance, permissibility to permeate your beingness, to share that guidance with you so that you can take the next inspired step towards what is for your highest and greatest good. So that is one way you can connect to your claircognizance or clair-knowing. Some people think that it's just instantaneous. You have sentences, that come to you, and this is exactly what you do, and you're all of a sudden acting like, the top scientist or doctor, in the field of medicine, and that's not really realistic. But what you can do is be open to connecting to source within, to your higher self, your inner wisdom, and getting the next step to what it is that is for your highest and greatest good. Now, some people have been very staunchly against certain mandates and certain instructions from our governments and even medical system, things that they should do, and they feel put upon and pushed to do things they don't feel is right for them. And I do empathize with them very, very greatly, because there are more voices that are against them, if you will, than their own. So one has to be really strong and courageous to stand up and just say, no, this is not for my highest and greatest good. I can feel it in my bones and I'm not doing it. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and I really applaud those people who are able to do that. At the same time, here's the thing, if we stand and we have the energies of frustration, annoyance, betrayal, guilt, etc., when we feel pushed, when we feel put upon, when we feel constricted and restricted and trapped really in this space of not having a choice, that energy can be quite harmful to us, that feeling of being trapped. Not only that, there are some that know that this is not necessarily for their highest and greatest good or healthy for them. And yet they still do it because they are in fear, and they are in fear of, you know, family not loving them, not allowing them to see their grandchildren. They're in fear because they're sensitive souls and they feel the fear of their loved ones and think it's theirs, right? And they go into overwhelm because they're not able to be silent enough, still enough to actually feel from within what's right for them and stand firm and stand strong. And some of these people are friends of mine, some of these people are colleagues of mine, and some of these people have been injured and harmed. And on the one hand, as an energy healer, you would think, well, gee, can't you just mitigate all that negative frequency? Yeah, you can, if you're allowed. Here's the thing. Why wouldn't Source or the universe allow you to do that? Here's the thing. If you know better than to succumb to other people's opinions and their fear, then the universe is not going to let you get away with it. It's going to have to give you some feedback. And so if you are pushing against something so strongly, feeling it isn't for you, and then you betray your own self and do something that is against your own self, then yeah, you will get feedback for that. And it's not very pleasant, even though theoretically you could have mitigated those particular things, right? And it's even a higher level of responsibility if you are, say, an energy healer and you teach energy healing and you have maybe tens or hundreds of thousands of students, not me, around the world, and you advocate something that is known to be toxic, right? Just because it's convenient, you can travel, you can do different things, and because you think, well, I'm just going to negate that energy, so who cares? You know? Yeah, well, guess what? If you're in that higher level of responsibility, and whatever including the energetics and the agenda behind the thing that you are promoting is low vibrational, the universe won't let you get away with it either. Sorry. Now, if you have lesser responsibility, you don't have that many followers, maybe you get away with it, Maybe it's because it's for your highest and greatest good to experience that level of healing and be able to do your passion and your mission. And at the same time, there is a line that comes up at some point where you will be asked to hold the line on behalf of all others who don't know to or don't know how to, because you're in a higher level of responsibility, whether you're a medical doctor or an energy healer or an active healing practitioner or something, something along those lines, some sort of career along those lines. So for our TOLPAKAN Healing Activation today, what I'd love to do is help you release some of the energies that have to do with these medical opinions and systems and some of the low vibrational energies that have been experienced by people, myself included, So I'm not, saying that I'm free of these issues as well. So I wrote down some here. These are the ones that Source said to work on today. So we are healing the frequencies and energies of resentment when it comes to the medical system. Some people call it the medical mafia. So healing that resentment, the resentment that maybe they aren't doing what it is for our highest and greatest good, resenting that they don't actually show us how to heal, resenting that there's a lot of money involved in it, and it is not necessarily for our highest and greatest good health-wise, but maybe for the highest and greatest good pocket-wise for people that are in different industries that are earning a lot of money and not actually helping people heal or teaching people that they are able to heal themselves. Right? So there could be that resentment. So we're going to heal that. The second thing we're going to heal is betrayal. Betrayal comes when we realize, and myself included, where I didn't know until well into my medical career that there were certain organizations and energies and agendas that literally were committing fraud and were actually harming people. And I just thought everything was on the up and up. I thought every, study that was published in PubMed and in, very, high-end journals, whether that be New England Journal of Medicine or Lancet or Nature, I thought everyone was honest. Yeah, I know, you're probably laughing. I really did, okay? I mean, I just love to trust and believe people. So there's a sense of betrayal when we find out that is not actually true. That is not actually true. You know, and that goes for not just journals, but journalism. You know, people that were, you know, very, very astute journalists being told that they can't run their story because Monsanto said they can't, you know, and they get fired. All of them get fired. So, you know, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of betrayal in this arena as well. Fear, that's the other one we're going to heal today, is fear, not only our own personal fear, but also fear of the collective. You know, fear of dying, fear of being harmed, and it goes both ways. Fear of being harmed by, you know, something that's floating around in the air, fear of being harmed by other people that have had this thing, you know, shedding. I mean, there's all sorts of fear abounding in our environment, and that is very harmful. The fear itself probably more harmful than anything else you can think of. So let's go and heal that today with regards to the medical system. And the final one is grief. The grief that we, you know, that it could have been different. The grief that we've experienced with people leaving us earlier than we thought they should, whether that be young people dying of, you know, heart inflammation that we've never seen in such unprecedented numbers before. Whether that be, you know, early strokes of women that, again, we haven't really seen in this amount before. And just a lot of grief of not being able to see our loved ones, connect to our loved ones. It's also grief because the medical system has literally put a barrier between us and our loved ones. And sometimes our loved ones have put barriers in front of us because they're scared of us. They think we're some sort of, you know, communist, whatever, like, you know, listening to all the scientific propaganda, you know, why don't I believe what's on the news? That has to be true, you know, things like that. So there can be a lot of grief related to that. So let's do some healing around that. If you're willing to receive, you can go ahead and go into the stillness space. What we like to do is something called stillness through observing internal movement. And we can go ahead and for new people, they can go ahead and rub your hands, get really, really like hot, some energy flowing, some chi and energy flowing. And breathe in and breathe out. And then relax your hands, close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. Go ahead and just focus on the inside of your body below the level of your skin. Feel any energy or movement, waves, tingles in your hands, maybe up the arms, and follow wherever that goes in the body. Without judgment, maybe there are areas where you feel more than others, that's completely fine. So continue following that flow. You're actually asking your mind to focus on that movement of energy. And when we do that, we enter the 0-point field, the seat of all creation, and we can make a shift and change and can heal. Auto healing, I like to say. So let's go ahead and take a breath in and then take a breath out. Yep. And then go ahead and breathe in again and breathe out. Excellent. Okay. So keeping your eyes closed, I'm going to go ahead and say the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive. And what I'd love for you to do is just notice the energy in your body and whether it shifts or changes as we do the releasing of these energies. Here we go. I now command the frequencies, energies of resentment, especially when it comes to medical opinions, medical perceptions, that energy be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated in the highest and best way, all directions of time, for ourselves, for mass consciousness, for all of humanity, in the highest and best way. Thank you. It is now commanded that the energies of betrayal be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated from all timelines where we exist, for ourselves, for mass consciousness, for all of humanity, in the highest and best way. Thank you. It's now commanded that the energies of fear be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated for ourselves, our alternate selves, all of humanity, mass consciousness, and all timelines where we exist with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Thank you. Finally, it's now commanded that the energies of grief be deleted, dissolved, released, resolved in the highest and best way for ourselves, as consciousness, all of humanity, and everyone else involved in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where we exist with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you. So take another breath in and out. We're going to let that process, and you can open your eyes if your eyes are closed. I'd love for you to put in the comments what that felt like in your body. I know for me, I felt like kind of a wave of peace kind of coming through, which is really nice. So a couple of announcements for this week. On Light Warrior Radio on Monday, 12 noon, I have the wonderful Alena Chapman with me, and we're going to be talking about living from the soul and how that's different from what people often do, which is they kind of live from their negative emotions, not even knowing that they're doing it. And also we're going to talk a little bit about how intuition plays into living from the soul and what happens to ego when we do that. Do we focus on it? Don't we focus on it? And one of the questions I asked her, which I'm sure you'd love to hear the answer to, is it true that our souls are 100% pure at all times? Our soul always knows the best. Or is it possible that souls can be tainted or injured or even fragmented? So I wanted to ask her that question. So we have some answers for you. Join us Monday at 12 noon for that on Light Warrior Radio. We'll put the post, the link actually, near this post so you can tune in at that time. And if you can't make it live, you can always tune in afterwards by using the exact same link. Some cool stuff, new stuff, and announcements as well for events coming up. Number one is just a reminder for those of you that have been following me for a while that on Elevated Existence, we launched the Transdimensional Alchemy Program. In about 2 weeks from the recording of this video, we will have our live 2-hour healing bonanza going through all 4 modules of the Transdimensional Alchemy Program. So if you have not already found and practiced the ways of, number one, healing inner child trauma with ease, speed, and grace, seed emotions that have seeded from a long time ago and fractalized into hundreds of versions of itself, to be able to pull that seed, transmute it, flip it to the polar opposite within seconds. If you have not done that, you probably want to join us. The third thing is, like, if there's some sort of negative energy, including the energy of the jibby-jabby, right, in someone that doesn't allow you to heal them, and even if you're an energy healer, you can create a spiritual Faraday cage around those things. And we're going to show you how to do that as well in the Transdimensional Alchemy Program and much more. So if you are interested in doing the live 2-hour session with me, this is the chance to come on board live, and we'll be putting everyone in the healing basket for the 2 hours, doing all the healings from the modules with you. I'll do it, but you'll do it with me, as well as whatever else shows up for people on that call. So if you're really into live healing and get a lot out of it, it's really awesome if you could get the package B. So I'll put that link near this video as well, because that is going to be closing soon. We do the package B workshop on February 24th. And of course, if you can do it all yourself, you don't need me, then get package A. Now, some other announcements. The Healing Faster Than the Speed of Light workshop is on February 23rd, which is the day before the Transdimensional Alchemy Package B live healing. So the workshop, we're going to be talking about healing at quantum speed and give you the basics of TOLPAKAN healing. So if you're brand new and you're interested in learning this particular healing modality, we're going to get you to a really great start for that 3-hour workshop, and it's only $22 US. So I'll put that special link below this video so you can register, and please feel free to share that with someone else who might be interested in light medicine and energy healing. We had a fun podcast the other day with my friend 𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗢𝗡 on her Let's Get Metaphysical podcast, and that is now live on YouTube. So we're going to put that link as well underneath this video. So we got to talk about ghosts and demons and extraterrestrials and all sorts of interesting things that have happened to us over the years. And I don't often get a chance to just chat like that casually without any particular agenda. So that's super fun. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, check that out. And last but not least, on February 16th, which is Thursday, 7 p.m., there is a book launch party for my friend's book, Navigating the Clickety-Clack, Volume 4. I was in Volume 1, and Volume 1, 2, and 3 were #1 best-selling, international best-selling, actually, award-winning, and we are intentioning that volume 4 will also be #1 international bestseller, award winning. So we have many of my friends that are in there, colleagues and friends, absolutely want to support them. So if you are wanting to support people that are really working it, really making a difference in the world, would love for you to come to the party. I will be there 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'll put that link to you for you. You can register to the free party, and guess what? There's prizes. Yeah, there's prizes. So they spin the wheel and you might win a prize. So definitely come to that book launch party. Do not buy the book, okay, until the launch party, or if it's, you're in Europe and it's too late for you, just buy the book that day. Okay, so the 16th. Don't do it earlier. Do it that day, and that's how we get it to #1 bestseller. So some of the other co-authors include very famous people like Bob Doyle and Marcy Shimoff from The Secret, and also Ricky Byers, who's also very well known in Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. So some of you may know her name as well. So again, navigating the Clickety-Clack book launch party, Thursday, February 16th at 7 p.m. And last but not least, just wanted to give you a little heads up that the documentary movie that I am starring in is called The Inside Effects, and that is going to be launching sometime in the summer. And if you join our light medicine community, we actually have a calendar, so we'll let you know when that is launching, and there will be an accompanying book called The Inside Effects. It's all about how the body heals itself, and yours truly will have a chapter in that book. So I'm looking forward to you watching that movie. I can't wait to watch the movie. I'm just so excited. And I think it's going to be very inspirational. And guess what? This movie is going to be free. Yes, FREE, free for you not only to watch, but to share the website with other people and download it for free. Yeah, crazy stuff, right? Awesome. This information is so important. And we want to get it out to millions and millions and millions of people across the world. So I hope you will help me in that launch as well sometime this summer. All right, guys, so great that you're here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the Spiritual Medicine Digest, and I look forward to next week's as well. Until next time, bye for now.